I think time is not on our side, so we are going to move to the next presenter. We have Mamlo Abdallah. Mamlo, are you here?
Hi everyone. Yes, I'm here with my colleague Rocha, who is going to be with me and she will be presenting with me. So I'm going to leave to her, who is going to start the presentation, and I'll be joining her later. Welcome, Hannah.
Okay, good. Okay. So we are going to have this presentation from Mamlo and Rocha. It's about marine litter monitoring in the Indian Ocean coast at Salaam, Tanzania. So welcome.
Yes, so good afternoon, everyone. We are going to talk a little bit about our marine litter monitoring program here in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. We are actually doing it in Dar es Salaam and also, north and south of Dar es Salaam, so we can have a comparative between. Dar es Salaam is the biggest city. For the ones that are not familiar with Tanzania, Dar es Salaam is the biggest city in Tanzania. And also the one that has the largest population and also the largest waste problem here. We have been doing this for 2 years now. So you obviously, Tanzania is a relatively big country. We have about 40 million people, and we have, sorry, the presentation keeps going on its own for some reason. And we have actually a tropical climate. We have water from the coast, but we also have lakes and rivers all over the country. And we also have a loss of biodiversity that is very significant in the country. And with that, we have lost more than 15 globally registered. This is a country that is among the 15 globally registered the highest number of threatened species, with at least 900 threatened species under the IUCN Red List from 2013. So we have loss of biodiversity coming from human activities, from urbanization, and also from not having a very good environmental program in the country. But we do have a very significant portion that we still need to cover for. One of the issues that we have is that in a city like Dar es Salaam, for example, we have 6.5 million people here, and less than 40% of the city has any sort of waste collection, which is obviously a problem. And then what people do because of that is that they use the rivers as their dumping grounds. And as they use the rivers as their dumping grounds, that litter ends up reaching the ocean and also being a threat to the coastal species, the underwater life, and all of that. So our aim here with a marine litter monitoring program is to basically build a database of litter in Dar es Salaam, and as I said, north and south of Dar es Salaam, so we have a comparative, and use that database for advocacy with government, with the private sector, so that we basically have a way to get better regulations, to get better waste management systems in place. We currently have the largest database on waste in Tanzania. Our database is being used by the Ministry of Environment, by several other organizations, and also by other government actors for decision making. We also obviously use that for advocacy for single-use plastic bans in the country, and also extended producer responsibility regulations. We understand the importance of the Tanzanian industries for the economy of the country, but that cannot come at a price of threatening the environment and getting infrastructural loss, which is what ends up happening here. And one of the things that happens with the litter that we have being dumped is that we have floods. Those floods end up also threatening people's lives and health. And so that's a problem that really needs to be addressed in a very strong way. So I'm going to pass the word to Mamlo, who is right next to me.
Yes, hello everyone. So as Yana mentioned, that we have been doing the marine litter monitoring for about 3 years now, since 2019. And basically, Dar es Salaam, we have a lot of beaches. It was difficult to pick where to start because the situation is too worse. But we set a criteria for selecting the location or the study areas for conducting the survey. And we had the 3 municipalities of Dar es Salaam, where we had almost 4 covered, 4 locations, of which there was Kigamboni, Ilala, and Kinondoni municipalities, and we had to pick one from the outside of Dar es Salaam, that is Bagamoyo. But also we covered 2 rivers, Mbezi River and Msimbazi rivers. The reason behind of picking these 2 rivers was these are the rivers that cut across the whole city, and the one that leading in accumulating the trash to the oceans. Yeah, and why did we pick those sites as the most relevant to our studies? Because we were trying to assess the nature of the beaches. We had to get the beach that had open access to the public, but also easy to remove the trash when we collect. But also we had to get the beach that has at least a wide areas and length that covers at least 600 meters in length, so that we can have at least a much accumulation of trashes, of which we can get a large sample. So also we considered that we would like to have the beach that are adjacent to the rivers, and of course these beaches receive most of the trashes from these 2 large rivers. And basically, we had to adapt the methodologies for data collection, as this survey is being influenced by the marine litter, Western Indian Oceans. So we had to adapt the marine litter monitoring programs manual. So most of the methodologies we used in data collection and also analysis of this data were adapted from the manual from SCCT. So the first thing that we had done, we were staying at the beach, each location for 12 days. 2 days we were doing like a collection of each and everything from the site that we mentioned as standing stock survey, and we were almost doing 2 days of extensive work, collecting almost like 200 bags within 2 days and sorting them and doing analysis of them. After that, we had 10 days of doing accumulation surveys, and this that was meant to be with the marine litter monitoring. So we always spent like 4 hours based on the trends of waves, the tides, collecting all the trash from the wet sand area and the dry sand area, and then we do sorting and recording. So generally, we conducted about 22 macro litter accumulation surveys from the so sorry, I was just a bit high and yeah. So we conducted about 22 macro litter surveys since 2019, but also we have managed to conduct 7 mesoliter beach surveys and 7 river surveys from the 2 rivers. But also we managed to do 16 West and brand audit from the standing stock surveys. And our team and our intervention approach, as you can see, we have few people from the office, like 5 people, but also we have youth ambassadors who are always supporting us in carrying out the surveys, but also involve volunteers from the neighbors of the all locations where we conduct surveys. But also we have partnering organizations who are interested to join us in the start of what we do. Yeah, so that's what we have. But also apart from that, we have the engagement programs or awareness programs, of which we do awareness programs to the neighborhood. So we managed to reach about 13 subwards and about 1,705 people engaged in awareness programs since we started this survey. So the good thing about Dar es Salaam is you can imagine you clean the beach today and you expect that you get back tomorrow and you won't find trash, or you find a little trash. But the story is not the same. So here we are going to tell you the number of count of litters that we managed to collect since 2019. It's almost it's almost 3 tonnings. Even the total weight of the litter that we collected is 3 tonnings. The total number of bags reaching up to 10,850 units for almost 2 to 3 years. And for 9 quarters of the survey, that is 3 tonnings, and it requires a huge effort from our volunteers and for ourselves to clean this beach. So we analyzed the data, and on the analysis we used the Excels, and we had the spreadsheet adapted from the marine litter monitoring manual, but also we have waste and brand audit, as this is adapted from our organization, the data program developed by our organization for auditing waste. So what we do with this analysis, we collect the count, and also we collect the weight of the trash collected, but also the source of the trash, but also we do the brand audit and the brand, and also the producer or the manufacturer of the products. So here you can find the producer of the most of the product, especially plastic that have been collected from the survey. METL, who is Mohammed Enterprise Tanzania Limited, producers of the drinking energies or juice or whatever, is a leading number of the companies and going downwards. So
here is important to say that from our surveys, we consistently find that about 75% of all the waste that we find is actually locally produced, so it's produced in Tanzania, of which about 40% of the waste comes from the 2 companies that you see here as the first company. So this ranking doesn't really change in all the surveys that we do, in all the audits that we do. It's quite consistent. So you can see that with the producers, and you can also see plastic. Like plastic actually accounts for most of the waste found, and there is a mix of branded plastic and unbranded plastic. You can continue.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think can go to this one.
Yes. So we can show you that, as Anna mentioned, most of the objects that we find are plastic, and our graphs show that it's about the 41% of the all product of all trash or litter that we collect are plastics, and this implies that there is a huge effort to fight the plastic pollution to our beaches. Yes.
That is talking about branded plastic, because
Yes.
if you look at here, for example, we have phone, we have marine and fishing gear, which is also plastic. So you have other kinds of plastic that are unbranded. So if you actually count all plastic, including the unbranded plastic, it comes up to almost 70% of all the waste. So about 40% is just the actually branded plastic. So here are some of the results from the surveys. We have obviously a report that has the detailed results from this.
So yes, you can find the different 4 graphs or 4 charts that show you the data. So each one will represent from the each location that we conducted the survey. So don't confuse.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So here we tried to show the trend of the weight that we collected since 2019, and maybe you could be surprised why this year the number of the weight is so high compared to the previous one. So the reason behind it is we tried to extend our marine litter programs. Before we were doing up to 450 meters because the work was too heavy, so we didn't cover the whole 60 meters, but this time we tried to invest much of effort and energy to try to reach all the 600 meters, but also we extended 2 sites of marine litter programs, of which we got Kigamboni and we got Bagamoyo, of which is far from the city. So bringing all these places together, and also the rainfall that has rained in this in the last month has brought out a large quantity of the trash to the beaches. So
one of the things that we need to always be aware is that as we chose beaches that are adjacent to rivers, some of the main rivers that we have around, so the amount of waste fluctuates with the amount of rain that we have, because our rivers are seasonal. So if you go and see the river right now, you see that there is no water. So basically we don't have that much waste reaching the ocean, but then at any rain that changes and then we have way more. So we have been trying to do some comparisons to be able to see like how much of the waste, like how the rain basically impacts the amount of waste that we find in the ocean. And we have seen that it actually impacts quite a bit. So this is for the river surveys?
Yes. This is just the reservoir survey that we have conducted, 7 river surveys, and that also shows the quantity of the trash we collected since we started. So you can see the trend.
You also see that we have done less river surveys than we have done the beach surveys, and the reason is exactly what I just mentioned. Our rivers are seasonal, so depending on the time, it's not actually possible to do a survey because we don't have enough water to do so.
So here, just to highlight that, as Anna spoken before, this from all the audit we do, or from all the survey we have done, we have observed that 76% of the material being collected are local, from the local manufacturers, and only 24% from the foreign brands. But also most of the plastic of the material collected, about 7% are plastic objects. So you can imagine how much we should put our effort on fighting the plastic pollution. But also sometimes you can see the trend that the trash collected are very low. So it might be likely to sense that maybe the waste problem is being low, is decreasing, but not say that. It might be maybe with the community campaigns that we do. As Nipefagio, we conduct a lot of campaigns, cleanup campaigns. So sometimes we accumulate a low level of the trash, but sometimes if you live for a moment, and then the rate of accumulation is still high. So we still have the long way to go. But also this time we managed to collect the large number of COVID items related, like masks and other stuffs. So this implies that there is a need for us to fight against the management of the COVID-related items as masky, whatever the eruption increases, no matter how much we have to protect ourselves.
So then moving forward, I think one of the things that we have been using is we need to continue to collect data. As I said, we have the largest database in Tanzania for waste. And so we actually need to keep doing that. So we do the surveys every 3 months, and we hope to continue to do that every 3 months. Our survey is fully digitalized, so we use actually ODK and QGIS to be able to make it very precise, and so then it's very reliable for people to use and for the government to use as well. We also are hoping to extend the survey more to the north and more to the south of Dar es Salaam, so then we have better comparatives. And this database, like the aim is that it will continue to inform the decision makers, and that is going to be important for the implementation of the extended producer responsibility. The discussion is currently happening in the Ministry of Environment and should be the first draft or the first set of regulations should be released in December this year. A little bit about the public awareness campaign. So Mamlo has already mentioned that. So we also reach the communities that are next to the rivers and the beaches that we work at. So they also understand the reason for us to do the surveys, because like people can see the work being done and also can hopefully engage on advocacy. And we also measure the dump sites that we find in the rivers, along those rivers. So you can see also a mapping here of the dump sites in those rivers. As I said, we have several dump sites along the rivers. We have conducted before some surveys, and we have found in 8 rivers of Salaam 2,250 dump sites along the river. So that's a significant problem here. And I think that's like pretty much it. So again, as I said, plastic is the main issue. I think the connection between plastic production and climate has been highlighted lately as a very big issue. In Tanzania, about 40% of all the greenhouse gas emissions come from waste. And so it's also important for us to account for that and to think about the relation between plastic production and the climate emergency. We hope that better decision making can be achieved by being data oriented, and we hope that the advocacy results in a cleaner environment in the future. Here are just some of the publications, and that's it from us. Asante sana. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mamlo and Anna, for such a robust presentation. I know marine litter is such a hot, very interesting topic at the moment, with WIOMSA having it on its top priority. And your study really did a good job in identifying the sources. And right now we know where marine litter is coming from. So I hope it's going to be easy for decision makers to adopt policies that are going to reduce pollution. So thank you so much. Unfortunately, we've gone too far with the time. So I'm just going to hang on for like 1 minute to get a really, really pressing question, because the next session starts in like 3 minutes time. So yeah, if someone has a really burning question, I'm going to offer 1 minute for that.
Maybe.
Yes, okay, yes.
I was just wondering, you showed like the total catch of litter. If you break it down like per effort, or did you observe any trends in the seasons, or like with more tourists coming in, or with, I don't know, in your litter observations at the coast, or is it constant throughout the years?
It's quite constant in terms of the percentage of waste. It's quite constant. The volume changes with the rains. What we have seen is a shift in some of the, for example, when we started back in 2019 in the beginning, we used to have, for example, plastic bags as one of the prevalent items that we find, and then we banned the plastic bags later in 2019. So those started to reduce in volume, but then other kinds of plastics like the energy bottle drinks that Mamlo mentioned started increasing. So at the end of the day, the plastic always dominates. It depends a little bit, like the kind of product may change, but the domination of plastic is still consistent. And the volumes of waste, like if it would be interesting to have a way, which we currently don't have, to actually see, because it's really hard to measure the volume of water in the rivers, but to see with the same volume of water, the amount of waste, to be able to see if the plastic is increasing or decreasing. From observation, we can see that the amount of waste is increasing, but we don't have a scientific way of measuring that.
Okay, yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks, Malmo and Anna, for that presentation. And thank you everyone else for joining this session and getting to know about all these incredible talks today. And so on the chat, we have the links for the next sessions for you to join. And yeah, all the best.